It's going off for Bitcoin right now because we have seen a pump up to that $30,000 level. We actually cleared it briefly twice. We even did this a couple of days ago at the beginning of this month, and we are now seeing another subsequent rejection. So there's a lot to go into in this video and some really big macro analysis that I want to share with you guys, something that I want to remind you about, which has proven to be correct 100% of the time. So stick with me here and I will be going through all of that with you in this YouTube video. Before we get into the rest of it though, there is a more than $100,000 bonus running on BingX right now for you to take advantage of. You're getting over 200K, some of the craziest shit I've said in my life, in bonuses if you sign up to the exchanges that I'm using, linked down below. The crucial thing that makes BingX special is that they allow you to trade stocks like Tesla, commodities like oil, Forex, indices, fucking everything, without KYC. So extremely flexible, no pictures of your ID or your passport or anything like that. And you can trade all of this with just a Bitcoin deposit. So very uniquely positioned exchange right here. Bybit remains the best in the game, and they're giving you up to $30,000 in free trading capital as well, which you can deploy right back into the market. We'll talk about that more a little bit later on in this video, but for now, let's dive into this super short-term stuff before I talk to you about some of the really big ideas that I have in this YouTube video that I want to share with you today. The first thing, for me is just, again, pointing out to you guys that we are finding support exactly where we've been expecting it. Just while everybody's losing their fucking mind over, quite basic normal price action here, I want to point out to you guys the facts. I want to ground ourselves in the facts, in what the real data are showing us. And we have known that this was an area of resistance or support for a very long time. All right, sitting here at 28.6K, we have known this for a very long time, and so without any surprise, we've been finding some bounces off here, and we have been challenging that $30,000 ceiling again. Now, this is a really interesting level because we knew it was resistance previously, but when we got above it, we were holding above this area of support for quite some time. We were able to hold above it for 32 days. Well, we are now knocking at that door again. And the more we knock, the more likely we are typically to break up. So this is something to keep an eye on. I know that right now things are generally quite boring, and that's just how it is when the market is ranging this way, but being prepared for these breakouts will be what pays you in the future. A lot of people are actually losing faith. A lot of people are losing patience in the market at stages like right now, and as a result of that, they're not paying attention to the breakouts, they're not staying prepared and ready for them, and they're missing out on trades that they wish they could have taken. I don't want that to be you. I've been that guy many, many times. I know many traders that have been that guy, and we don't want to be that, okay? And the way we can actually avoid that is by staying attentive at times like this in this market right now. If we get a breakout above this 30K level, there is no more resistance for Bitcoin until we get up to the local high, to the prior swing high, and that would be about 31.4 or, whatever, around about there. This area is where I'd expect the next batch of resistance. So if we clear this, we're jumping straight up, ladies and gents, as far as I'm concerned. And if we do that, it's just going to be so easy to start piercing these highs and getting a little bit higher. So let's talk about that in just a moment. There's a lot that I want to dive into on that side of the market here. Right now, though, we are trending down. We've seen this rejection. Support stays in the same place. If we lose this support, we have support even lower, and there's more support that I'm going to show you a little bit later on in this YouTube video as well. But as it stands right now, Bitcoin has been in a sideways range since we entered this area about 2.5 weeks ago. And if we continue to find support here, I would continue to expect resistance up here until either this level breaks and we drop down, or this level breaks and we rise up. Now, if we drop down, it's more good news for Bitcoin. If we drop down, we've got more support right here, and it's just really not a particularly concerning image. People are getting scared, and that's great, because what's important to note is that when we're in an uptrend, the only thing we really care about is maintaining a position of higher highs and higher lows. As long as we have these two elements still in the market, we're good. As long as we're still setting higher highs, as long as we're still setting higher lows, that is telling us that the market is generally still trending up. That's a really important detail. And if we keep in mind that our recent high was over here and our recent low was over here, we have a very long way to go to the downside until things start actually getting bad. Now, you might start worrying over here, that things are going to get really, really bad. And that's completely fine. And you have your reasons for that. And I respect them. And I think you might be right in a lot of ways as well. However, you might start worrying about the market losing structure here That makes sense. The market actually loses structure over here. And this is what's really important to keep in mind. This is the prior low that the market set. So until and unless we get below that level, we're still in an uptrend. And that means the direction of movement that I'm going to be expecting overall is still upwards. Even if we have heavy resistance at $30,000, which I'm very well aware of, the fact is the trend is currently still pointing upwards. And I'm not going to say that I'm smarter than the trend. A lot of people think that they are, but in my experience, just as somebody who, quite frankly, wants to make money out of the market as a trader, it pays, in my experience, it pays to not question the trend very much, and that's exactly what I'm doing right here. So even if we drop down, we have a lot of support. This green box represents a lot of that support. I can show you another huge area of support right here as well. It's the daily Ichimoku cloud, which we are in right now. We can take this even lower, potentially as low as like 27.6, and we're still in the cloud. If we just trade sideways over these next few days, we're in the cloud. This has been a very successful area of support for Bitcoin throughout this very trend that we're in right now, and I am not prepared to ignore it yet. This is something that you might want to brush off. It's not something that I want to brush off. It typically is very reliable, and it's striking again after the market has already had a very nice uptrend and a very nice pullback. It's just ready to blow off again the way I see it. Doesn't mean it will, but we certainly are showing signs of that setup right now being in play. This is something else I want to show you. This trend line stretches from more or less, beginning early July to around right now, where the market has consistently been finding resistance along this line for a period of 35 days. We had a fake out right here, and we've now had another breakout right here. Now, granted, this chart is a little bit out of date. It's only a few hours old, but the price has now retraced back down towards this line. But if we're able to get a bounce off this line right here, this is absolutely huge. And it's a really, really strong sign for the market, showing me that we have started to break out of some of our important resistance areas. If we take another look at what this actually looks like, if I actually draw this for you right here on this chart so we can start to appreciate what this trend line actually is showing us right here. I think I can draw it from around over here. Yeah, this looks around right. It looks about correct. Yeah, something a little bit like this, more or less, kind of proves the point here. We have been trending down. We've been stuck below resistance lines like this or similar for a very long period of time now, about 35 days, like I said. And to finally be getting that breakout now is a strong sign. It's just one of those things that shows us that previously the market just, kept trending down, just couldn't fight, couldn't break up. Right now, we're starting to see those signs of the market waking up. Does it mean that we actually start breaking our highs and rallying up towards 40K? No, it doesn't mean that that's going to be the case. However, what it could mean is that on the short term, we're now starting to find a little bit more momentum. Whether or not we do anything with that momentum, obviously, is to be seen, but that is one of those signs right there starting to show. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. It's the same Ichimoku cloud that I mentioned to you guys earlier, but if we couple it with this classic chart pattern of falling wedge patterns, we have done this many times already now throughout this very uptrend. This is why things are looking so compelling to me. I completely understand why people are bearish. I completely understand why people want to short the fuck out of this market and take it down to 20K. And you have good reason to feel all of those things, especially given the fact that we have not been able to break above 30K, especially considering the fact that traditional finance has been weak, over these recent days, and crypto is probably going to start to suffer that as well, because crypto didn't go up with traditional finance. This is something that we've spoken about previously. In fact, my last video was based off this, so make sure that you have subscribed if you missed that one, because that's how you can avoid missing videos in the future. But we have seen a situation now where Bitcoin didn't enjoy the upside with traditional finance, and now traditional finance is dropping. So it begs the question, is Bitcoin going to follow? Probably, right? That's generally what happens. Probably. If Bitcoin is weak when other markets are strong, well, when those markets become weak, Bitcoin's probably going to be even weaker than that, and that's just one of the unfortunate things that we deal with Bitcoin from time to time. So, you definitely have a good number of reasons to be concerned about this market, but here's something that you just can't refute. we've formed falling wedges throughout this bull trend so far, and they've resulted in really nice big pumps. This was more or less a continuous 30-day pump that took Bitcoin up by 46%. The next time we did the same thing, and we did fall out of it. We didn't quite do the bullish thing of just breaking straight out, but we fell down directly into the Ichimoku cloud, and we formed a 32% pump across 18 days. Again, pretty bad. Pretty good. Not too bad at all. And that's not even measured from the low. That's just from the breakout point of the wedge. So we've done okay there. The very next falling wedge, look at what happened. It's the same thing. We formed this falling wedge trending down into the daily Ichimoku cloud. We bounce off the very bottom of it, and we form yet another, in this case, 20% pump across 23 days. So not bad. Now, one thing you may have noticed, though, is that these pumps are getting smaller. 46%, 32%, and 20%. That is the sign of a market losing strength. That is a sign of bulls no longer being able to push the price significantly higher. Or perhaps, if you really are very bearish, the way you're going to read into this is that there was only limited upside for the market to enjoy in the first place, and so at the beginning, it's quite easy to tap into that upside. We're so overextended to the downside. The market pushed down too much, too heavily, too quickly. So naturally, the initial rebounds are going to be a little bit stronger. The more we get to levels where people are interested in selling, the slower these uptrends get. And that's what the data is showing us. But that's not necessarily bad news. If we just get a 10% pump, which is in line with the reductions we've been seeing, 46%, down by 12%, down by 12%, if we go down by another 10% or so, we still find ourselves at $33,000, which means that we clear the previous high. Now look, we might just punch in a slightly higher high again, and then the market starts trending down, or we might be done with this. You know, one thing that's important to keep in mind is that this $30,000 area is quite significant as resistance, and we have already been flirting with it for quite some time, ever since we hit it over here, and that was now many months ago. So, I believe this was March when we got here. So, and we're now in August. It's been a whole 5 months. It's been a while since we've been interacting with this 30K level. And if you think that another breakout is just going to get stifled the same way the previous ones did, then fair enough. But if you're with me and you feel like, the more you attack these resistance levels, the more you apply pressure to them, the more likely you are to break out. It's just quite a basic principle and technical analysis. Then we are looking at clearing the bulk of this resistance area and potentially seeing some really positive upward price action. Now that might not come soon. We might still need to correct down. If we look at a chart like this one right here, we still could come down even deeper into this cloud. We can even fall out of it. The fact is that the low is down here. The low is not over here, where we have a disaster if we fall below 28K. No, the low is at 25K. And as long as we stay above 25K, we're still holding the uptrend. It doesn't matter how slow the market trends down. It doesn't matter how explosive the drops might be. If we have, a rapid sell-off, a little bit like what we saw back here, it doesn't matter. The fact is, we're still maintaining the uptrend structure. And as long as that's still there, it's dangerous to bet against it. It's been dangerous to bet against it. This is what the chart very clearly shows us, that it's been dangerous to stand in front of this moving train. And I think that's why, people are really torn up about this right now, because 30K is a very significant area of resistance. And at the same time, we're just not doing as bad as the bears want you to believe that we are. We're just not. We're still holding the same levels. We're doing it slowly and we're doing it frustratingly. And all of that are, all of those things are things that I would agree with. However, we're still here. We're still here. Shout out to Drake right there. So here's something else that's interesting. Look at this. Look at this accumulation range right here. We've got this beautiful accumulation with these two curved lines here on this chart that Bitcoin stayed in for years after its kind of big sell-off right here. I believe this would have been like what price level was this? This was like $25, I guess. Pretty interesting. You know, we stayed in this accumulation period for quite some time. We did it again. Bitcoin topped out at $1,000, and we did it again, you know, up until that kind of 20K peak right here. And this, it's a very interesting chart showing us, you know, where these accumulation ranges are, where the markets have, where this market has found bottoms, and where we can expect tops. And it also tells us that over time, we're becoming less aggressive. Over time, we're not able to hit such ridiculous targets more and more and more. Now, look, I don't like this analysis. I think it's quite basic. I think it's quite stupid, you know, and I think that it oversimplifies this picture. But at the same time, it's correct. You know, like at the same time, so far, you can't really dispute it. I guess my problem is that, you know, with curved lines like this, they're so inaccurate. You know, they can be drawn so subjectively to show fucking anything you want, you know, which is my primary issue with it. But even then, considering, you know, the negative things I've just told you about this analysis I'm showing you, you can't deny that there is something here. Look at the resistance. Look at the support. We've been here for some time now, and just pulling off this pump right here. Just this 10% move here will probably put us out of this range, and will probably indicate that we're looking at a breakout. So that would, you know, that's an indication that the new bull run started. You know, are we really there yet? I don't know. Maybe not. Probably not. I don't think so. You know, and so it's an interesting picture. I don't have a massive conclusion to draw based off this, other than, you know, if we do pump out of this, that is potentially $120,000 Bitcoin target. You know, and obviously, you know, that can spell a lot of really nice opportunities. But you know, it's one of those things much more that I just want to watch, and I want to remind you, like, hey, you know, this exists. We've spoken about this kind of curve on this channel many times before. These are not things that I base decisions off, but it's good context to keep in mind, especially in a market like what we have right now, with the opportunities available right now. Again, just on the note of these opportunities here, you have huge offers available with the links in the description down below. BingX being the exchange with access to traditional finance markets, you have a lot more beyond crypto that you can trade. Crypto is quite boring right now, but these traditional finance markets, whether it's gold, look at that beautiful, beautiful drop here. Again, you know me, I think gold is going to be going up quite well, but volatility is great. Volatility is what you want as a trader. Whether or not the asset is going up or down doesn't matter. It's about movement, and we're getting that movement in traditional finance right now. We're getting it with the S&P 500, and we're getting it with individual stocks that we all look at. That's really interesting. So, you know, what I'm seeing right now is a very, very clear opportunity to take advantage of this extra volatility that we're seeing in traditional finance markets on BingX, and you do have over 100K to take advantage of that as well right now, following the link in the description below. BingX changes their bonuses quite often, and they change them quickly. So you know, it's not like Bybit. Bybit has pretty much been running this for a long time. You should still take advantage of it. It's great. BingX seems to be a little bit more time sensitive. Keep that in mind if it's something you think you'd be interested in, because you might not be able to access this offer in the future if you sleep on it today. There's no KYC, very easy to get started, so definitely do check it out. And again, guys, you know, Bybit will just straight up give you up to 30K in free trading ammunition as well. That's free money that you can deploy back into the market, and if you generate any profits, you can do whatever the fuck you like with it. If you generate any profits with that 30K, those profits are yours to withdraw. So very, very cool offer indeed. Check them out. You gotta sign up and start making deposits and trading in order to get these bonuses, but they are well worth it when you do get them. So definitely do check them out. They are automatically credited into your account there. If we bring it back to the market here, let me just open up the chart again, because I don't know what that form is, and I don't want to do that while I'm live with you guys. So if we just bring Bitcoin up and take a look at this chart here. You know, we can come back and talk a little bit more about this closer price action here. You know, for me, these rejections are just signs that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. You know, we are fighting even if we're trending down, you know, which is showing me that there is still some strength in this market. There is still some bullish energy here. You guys know that I was looking a little bit at exo charts, and that's still telling me the same thing. It's basically, I can't bring it up right now. I don't know if it's gonna, yeah, it is loading up right now. The price might not be accurate, but it really doesn't need to be. What we're interested in is simply looking at this line over here, you know, and this line over here overall, you know, with a bit of an exception right now, you know, this line over here, you know, has been trending down for quite some time, and this is just a representation of, you know, if the line is up, there's a lot of longs. If the line is down, there's a lot of shorts, you know, and what this is showing me is that, you know, whoever has been shorting the market just hasn't been able to push us down. You know, I mean, there have been so many shorts entering the market. More specifically up here, it's a little bit worse now, but broadly speaking, there have been many shorts in the market, and the price is dropping, but not much, you know. So even if we kind of peel back a few layers and we look at some more advanced stuff, what's very clear to me, ladies and gents, is that you know, whoever is trying to push the market down isn't working, whether it's one person or everybody. You know, there have been more shorts in the market, you know, that have been going into the market, and the price just hasn't been reflecting that, you know, and when that happens, you know, that kind of just tells you that these shorts are getting absorbed, you know, and the market just doesn't want it. The market wants to either stay where it is or move up. You know, that's kind of the underlying sign that I'm getting, you know, from looking at those pieces of data right there, right? I mean, you know, you put it this way: if you're trying to you know, massively push the market down with a lot of firepower, and it's just not fucking working, you know, well, then that's going to be a sign that you know, your trade idea was incorrect. And where this gets kind of crazy is if we come back to this chart here, you know, and we look at the exo chart. I don't know if I was hiding this with my camera, you know, is that eventually all these shorts that have built up over this time, these shorts are going to have to close. This line is going to have to start going up, you know, and that could just push the market even higher. So we're still in that same place right now. You know, that hasn't changed. That development is still the same, you know, and it really, you know, has to get you thinking. You know, I'm not, you know, perma bull here saying that 40k is an inevitability or that 20k must happen, but what I am pointing out is that you know, I mean, these shorts have been unsuccessful. The market is still in the same place. You know, we just haven't done things that are as bearish as I feel like people are making it out to be, you know, and that is something which I wanted to be able to point out to you guys right here on this YouTube channel while we're looking at all of this. And I know a lot of you guys are just scratching your heads wondering what the fuck is going on. Well, you know, there you go. We are still just trending downwards slowly. You know, from that perspective, nothing has changed, and we're continuing to find support where we expect to, and we're continuing to find resistance where we expect to find resistance as well. You know, again, for me, if this level breaks, we're back in the game, you know, and if this level breaks, we have more support, so I'm just not that worried. Ultimately, I think if we did lose this green box, that would be a very bad sign, because the next drop, you know, would probably be quite steep, I would think, you know, down to the 25k area, you know, but even then, like I said, this is still a support area, and it's not something that I want to ignore. You know, so that's what I'm seeing in the market right now. There is a lot more going on, obviously. You know, I didn't even get to talk to you guys about PayPal yet, which actually has just launched their first cryptocurrency. So, you know, that's a fucking weird sentence for me to say out loud. Obviously, you know, PayPal is quite a horrible platform, but it is interesting that they have launched their own crypto stablecoin. So, you know, the virus is spreading in that sense, so to speak. It's not the victory lap that you think it is. You know, this is a very centralized stablecoin, but, you know, whatever, it is still adoption in some way. You know, and that deserves to be spoken about at least a little bit, I think. You know, it's definitely not game changing. It's not something that's crazy, but you know, whatever. It's just something to talk about, something to be aware of while we're here in this market. So there you go, guys. I hope you have enjoyed this one. You know what to do if you have. Hit up the likes, subscribe, tick the bell, do all that good stuff if you haven't done so already. Obviously, the bonuses in the description are here. Take advantage of them while you can. Now is the time. You know, you don't want to be running around scrambling trying to get these bonuses, this extra trading capital, or whatever it is that these exchanges are giving you in bonuses. You don't want to be running around trying to get that when the market is moving. You want this stuff now so that you have it ready when the market starts moving. And, you know, hopefully that comes relatively soon. We've already done a few things like I've demonstrated to show you that this market is trying, you know, and if that breakout did come, you know, it is essential to be ready. So there you go. Check them out. Huge offers available. I hope you have enjoyed this one, and I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers.